Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the ultimate year-end blockbuster, my two-part epic series where I will be predicting every single bowl game. There's 43 bowl games. This is part one, and this will be the first half of it. I will be predicting games through the Texas Bowl, which I believe is games through the 28th, and then we will make another part and do all the New Year's 6. It will be back-to-back. I'm doing it right now as part one. Part two will literally be filmed like an hour later. So this is all coming out right now. This is going to be an absolute all-time #1 viewed video on YouTube. So guys, let's get right into it. This is what we've been waiting for. This is the culmination. It is the Bahamas Bowl. It's Miami of Ohio taking on UAB. Guys, let me give you the inside analytical scoop on this matchup. UAB has been one of the most unlucky teams this year. According to analytical data, they're top 3 in unlucky, turnover margin, things like that. Miami of Ohio, let's be real, they're just simply not good. I actually think UAB is -12 in this game right now after opening a little bit lower. But guys, what you should know, to kick off college football season, the Bahamas, it's great weather. UAB is way better than this. They should be in a better bowl. They had some unfortunate luck to go 6-6. Miami of Ohio is just happy to be there. UAB will control this game. They will easily cover the spread, and you've got a little 11:30 a.m. start time there in the Bahamas. I think the Bahamas is an hour ahead of us. I vacationed there once, and it's like I'm East Coast time. They're like even further ahead. It's like they're Newfoundland time or something, some Canadian time zone. I don't even know, but I will take UAB there. Moving on to the Cure Bowl, one of the top early bowl season matchups by far. Troy and UTSA, both of these teams 11-2, both of them conference champions. You've got UTSA right now, very slight 1.5-point favorites. And guys, on this game, I just think UTSA, Frank Harris, and that offense is too much. I do respect Troy. They're a very good team. They finished the year ranked. Both of these teams finished the year ranked, and they deserved it. You need to shout these teams out. But I think this is a situation where UTSA's offense is significantly better than Troy's offense, and Troy's defense, for as good as it's been this season, is going to have a tough time slowing down Frank Harris and UTSA. I just think UTSA is a little bit better. Also, I believe UTSA faced a little bit harder of a non-conference schedule. I believe they faced Texas in week 2 or week 3. So I will take the University of Texas San Antonio to cover in this game and win it. A little bit better offense, but everyone will tell you in terms of really early season bowl matchups, this is elite. The Cure Bowl did a very good job on that. Moving on to the Fenway Bowl. This is the 11 a.m. Eastern start time. And guys, it's unfortunate the situation right now with Cincinnati. I actually haven't been able to find an accurate point spread for this game because I guess there's, questions who's going to transfer for Cincinnati with Luke Fickell leading. I'm just going to go ahead and say it's Louisville -6. That's just my estimation because of all the influx at Cincinnati, but we are not completely sure. And then when it comes to this game, guys, right now, if you're going to make a bet on this game, I would say take the under. It's an 11 a.m. start time. When odds come out, I would really highly recommend that. I do have Louisville winning this game. It's really just low-hanging fruit with this prediction. It's very hard to pick Cincinnati in this spot with Luke Fickell leaving and possibly multiple players hitting the transfer portal with that opening up today. They already lost one of their top good young cornerbacks. So we will see. But again, guys, it's tough for a team like Cincinnati this time of year. They had a good season. They lose Luke Fickell. And then unfortunately for them, they also miss out on Deion Sanders, who would have been just a crazy hire for them. Louisville's had a good enough season with Malik Cunningham and company on offense to really carry them over a Cincinnati team that is in a little bit of uncertainty in terms of their roster and their coaching staff. Moving on to the New Mexico Bowl. This is the 2:15 game on the 17th. So this is the second game after the Fenway Bowl. We have SMU and BYU. Right now, BYU carrying 2.5-point favorites. The over-under in this game, I believe, is 74 or 75. You have two bad defenses coupled with two explosive offenses. We remember the SMU game, 77-63. I'd love to see an 80-burger. Personally, I don't see it in this one. It could be even more high scoring than this, but I am just going to go with the chalk. I'll take BYU to win this game by 3 points. Again, guys, the situation is both of these defenses are very bad, and they do have both good offenses. The reason I'm taking BYU is I trust their program just a little bit more. SMU kind of inconsistent this year. BYU, it seems like year in and year out, they're pretty good. They can win this bowl game, but either way, it's going to be a shootout, and maybe I'm underselling this. Maybe I should have said 57-54 or something like that. Although I will say, normally when you think a game's going to be really high scoring, it ends up not being. Although sometimes with college, I think the over-under in this game at 74 is a little bit low. Just in general, but either way, I've got it at 37-34. Next, we have the LA Bowl. This is a good matchup here. Fresno State, who I think if they didn't suffer a quarterback injury earlier this year, guys, I think they would be ranked at this point, possibly 11-2. They're taking on Washington State. Washington State coming into this game, the slight 4-point favorites, the favorites according to analytical metrics, but guys, Fresno State, they were 3-point underdogs against Boise State. I said they would win that game outright. I'm trusting them again. How about their defense against Boise State? Shutting down a Boise State offense that had been on a roll. That impressed me on the road because the Mountain West Championship game is played, not in a neutral site. They had to go on the road at Boise State. They won that game outright. Washington State, kind of a letdown. They get the transfer QB. They have some games like against Oregon where you look like you think they're going to win, and they end up going 7-5 this year. I really thought they would have been an 8-4 team at least based on how they were doing earlier this season. So I do think Fresno State uses that momentum that they have coming into this game, and they win a bowl game, and they possibly finish the season ranked. This would be their 10th win, and they are just a completely different team at this point. So we will see, but I do like Fresno State in that one. The LendingTree Dollar General Bowl. I'm kidding, guys. The LendingTree Bowl taking place in Alabama. This is one of the worst bowl games of the year. No disrespect to these teams. I don't know how Rice made a bowl. I'm guessing it's because they had some good academics or something. They only won 5 games. I respect it. I do. I like teams that are 5-7 in bowl games, but I can't pick them to win this, guys. This is going to be a lower scoring game, and I think Southern Miss, who they've been consistently good enough this year. They beat the teams they're supposed to beat, and they're going to beat Rice. This is a Rice team that really should not be in this game. This game taking place on the 17th, right around dinner time. Yes, you're eating dinner. You have a nice little bowl game on. Although I really don't think many people will be watching this game. It'll be interesting to see the ratings. I would like to see, at the end of the season, the lowest rated bowl games. I would imagine this has got to be a contender. I don't think it would win, but it's got to be a contender for the worst rated bowl game. Moving on to the primetime 7:30 matchup on December 17th. It's Florida taking on Oregon State. And you might be wondering, how is Oregon State matched up with Florida? Oregon State is 9-3, Florida is 6-6. It's because there's a backlog of good Pac-12 teams, but none of the Pac-12 teams made the playoff. So it's like, there's so many congested Pac-12 teams, somebody's got to get knocked down, and that's why you have Oregon State facing Florida. I'll be honest with you guys. As long as Anthony Richardson plays and there's no, he's not sitting out, or I don't think he will, I would expect this game to be relatively close. I was really impressed with the way Florida played against Florida State on the road in that rivalry game. They really hung with a extremely impressive Florida State team, and I think they're able to hang with Oregon State. Guys, Oregon State did get a major win, in their rivalry game against Oregon, but let's remember, Bo Nix was playing a little injured. They had to come back late in that game. It was like 34-10. They were losing, so I think this is a situation where Florida, as long as their players are playing, plus the 7.5 might be good value, although I have to respect Oregon State, and I do respect the Pac-12, let's be real. I'm giving them the win in that matchup. Next, we've got the Frisco Bowl. That will be taking place at 9:15 Eastern, also on the 17th. Boise State facing North Texas. Boise State, the 7.5-point favorite. And guys, North Texas the past few weeks, they did make their conference championship, but they've gotten just thrashed. I think they lose this game comfortably. Boise State rebounds after losing their Mountain West championship game. They come back, they cover the spread, they win this game. Their offense gets back on track. They're a good program. We know how solid Boise State is, and it is a weird spread, 7.5. I would love for it to go down to 6.5, but I'll still take Boise State. I'm fading North Texas right now because they've been struggling, and especially their defense is struggling. It's been struggling all year. Now we've got the Myrtle Beach Bowl. This will be the 19th at 2:30. It is UConn making a very surprise bowl appearance. They will be facing Marshall. Marshall sitting 9.5-point favorites. And guys, this is a very unfortunate matchup for UConn. You have to take into account UConn is going to be very motivated for this game. They were not expected to be here. But guys, Marshall the past 4 weeks has been airtight. They've been so good the last 4 weeks of the regular season. I've got them winning and I've got them covering. UConn's offensive metrics are still totally dreadful. And Marshall has a really good defense. You couple those two together, and UConn right around 13, maybe 14 points. I just cannot pick this game to be close. It's just a horrible matchup for UConn. They do not have an explosive offense at all. I understand the people saying the motivation, they finally made a bowl game. But guys, if you look at the data, this should not be, it's just a horrible matchup for UConn, in my opinion. Maybe they'll surprise me. I would love them to. I'd love to see UConn play well, but I have to be realistic about it. Marshall is not a good draw. Marshall has had a really good defense. They were inconsistent earlier in the season when they lost to Bowling Green, but they've rebounded. I was thinking they were kind of, a team that was good one week, bad the next, but the second half of the season, if you look, they've been really good, especially their defense. I've got them winning this game 32-13. Next, we've got the Idaho Potato Bowl. Yes, the Idaho Bowl. This will be on December 20th at 3:30. How about Eastern Michigan taking on San Jose State? And guys, I'm sorry I have to do this. I love San Jose State. I think they've got a great defense, but they have not been good to end the season. And Eastern Michigan does have a surprisingly explosive enough offense, I think, to pull off the upset. San Jose State is right around 4-point favorites, but I am taking a chance in this game. I'm taking a leap of faith onto Mac School and picking them to win this game again. End of the season vibes have not been good for me in San Jose State, even though I love their logo. It is very hard for me to pick against them. It would be so great. Could you imagine Deion Sanders goes to San Jose State? I love their logo. My goodness, it's so good. But guys, Eastern Michigan, you look at their offense, they can generate explosive plays. It's surprising. They've had games where they've scored 40-plus points. So this is a team that does have a high ceiling on offense, and I've got them winning in an upset. Next, we've got the Boca Raton Bowl. This will be the late game, 9:15. It is Toledo taking on Liberty. So Liberty, probably one of the more polarizing teams entering bowl season. They had a good season, but then, the last game for them, they got crushed by New Mexico State, which allowed New Mexico State to make a bowl. Just shocking loss. Toledo, on the other hand, they did beat Ohio in the MAC championship, but there is a caveat. Ohio was playing their backup quarterback, and Toledo has not been good to end the season. And yes, I did have a man crush on Toledo earlier this year, but unfortunately, it's faded. I've been cheating on them, and now, guys, I am going against them. I am sleeping with Liberty in this matchup, 31-24. I do have Liberty. Actually, Toledo's 1.5-point favorites. It does make sense because Liberty, the Hugh Freeze leaving, it's very hard. I would not recommend betting on this game or anything like that because it's just weird. We don't know the coaching situation, but it's I feel like if I would pick against Liberty, I'd be overreacting. I don't know. Maybe not because they did have a ridiculously bad close to the season and they did lose their head coach. but it just feels like Toledo's MAC championship was a little disingenuous with the Ohio quarterback injury, and it's not like Toledo's offense is really fixed. I think they only scored 17 points in that game. So if Ohio had their starting quarterback, I think Toledo loses that game and probably finishes the season 7-6 on the year. So I will take Liberty very cautiously because I'm betting on them. I'm betting on the fact that they were better throughout the season. That's kind of my thought process on that. Next, we have the New Orleans Bowl. This is a 9 o'clock start on the 21st, so we're coming up on Christmas at this point. It's amazing, guys, the great vibes and things like that. How about South Alabama, who was ranked, a few AP voters ranked South Alabama. They will be taking on Western Kentucky. Guys, anytime you see Western Kentucky in a bowl game during bowl season before Christmas, they're an auto lock. I'm telling you, it's every year. Western Kentucky during bowl season, we've got them winning this game. They are 2.5-point underdogs. That's disrespectful. That really is. It's so sad to see Vegas disrespect such a great historic program that's got such a great culture for winning in Western Kentucky. It's so unbelievable. But either way, guys, I do like Western Kentucky. South Alabama, great team. They've got a very good defense. Kind of similar team to Troy, where they've got an average offense but a good defense. It's not going to matter against this Western Kentucky team. Western Kentucky wins this game outright. Next, we have the Armed Forces Bowl. Yes, the Armed Forces Bowl. It's Air Force taking on Baylor. And guys, I really have a ton of respect for Air Force and what they do. They have one of the most efficient offenses in college football, the way they're able to run the ball. This game at 7:30 right now, Baylor 6.5-point favorites. My motto, I live by my motto. I die by my motto. Trust Baylor football. And guys, I think 6.5 is a little bit much for Baylor, but I do have them winning this game 27-24. Good coaching and just a good overall team. Baylor gets it done, but I do think the spread a little bit disrespectful to a really good Air Force team, in my opinion. Next, we have the Independence Bowl taking place on Christmas Eve. It's going to be Louisiana. They've had a very nice season. They've had a good few seasons. They will be taking on Houston. But guys, when it comes to the bowl season, I'm getting a great vibe with the University of Houston and their offense. And guys, it is important to note, the Houston basketball program is so good. They've got so much momentum within that university right now. Nathaniel Dell, the receiver's a superstar. I'm taking Houston big in this matchup, 48 points. They've got an elite offense. I said they were going to be a surprise team in the preseason. It really didn't work out that way. They did win a few games, but guys, in this spot, I do love Houston. I love the over in this game, and I'll take them to cover the 3.5-point spread. They really should be more favorites than that with their explosive offense. Come on, folks. Next, we have the Gasparilla Bowl. This game also on Christmas Eve, 6:30. It is Missouri taking on Wake Forest. And so, guys, I'll explain. It's just, I get a really weird vibe about this game, like it's going to be an upset. Like Missouri, for whatever reason, is going to upset Wake. And it is weird that Wake is only 1.5-point favorites, unless there's an injury to Sam Hartman that I'm missing. It feels like Wake, is just a better team. They've got a more explosive offense. But Missouri, they've been so inconsistent this year. They do have games where they play good defense. They're solid. I think they win this game. It's one of those weird SEC upsets, I feel like, where technically Missouri's the underdog. Wake Forest has been ranked at points throughout the year. They've got Sam Hartman. They've got the better offense. But it is a bowl game. We have to get a little spicy sometimes. We've got to get a little sexy, and we've got to take Missouri in this matchup, in my opinion. I'm just getting a weird vibe with it. So that's why I'm taking Missouri. We have the Christmas Eve game, the 8 o'clock game, the Hawai'i Bowl. Yes, it's Middle Tennessee State traveling to take on San Diego State. Guys, can I just say, why is this game in Hawaii? If we're going to do an 8 o'clock Christmas Eve game, let's put it on the North Pole. Let's make it snow, and we can all have a great vibe and a beautiful night. That's my little TED Talk, and I would love to see that personally. Either way, guys, this is the shocker. The shocking low-scoring game. These kids are going to be drinking too much eggnog. They don't want to play on Christmas Eve. Nobody's going to watch it because everyone's with their family, and this game's just kind of going to skate by. San Diego State already plays really good defense, and they don't have a good offense. Middle Tennessee, I'll give you, they are kind of a more higher scoring team that doesn't have a great defense, so it is a stylistic matchup. It's a clash, and I think San Diego State and their ball control will win out in this game. It's just a vibe I'm getting, lower scoring game, which again, not the kind of style Middle Tennessee State plays, but it is Christmas Eve. The kids, they're going to be tired. They're not going to want to play. We will take San Diego State to win and cover in a very low-scoring affair. This is the day after Christmas game, the Quick Lane Bowl. Here it is, guys. New Mexico State taking on Bowling Green. Bowling Green, 1.5-point favorites. New Mexico State getting to 6 wins by scheduling and beating Valparaiso last week in a rescheduled game or something. I do have Bowling Green winning this by 1 point. I love the over in this game. It's a dome game. They're going to want to score. They're going to have fun. Bowling Green has a good enough offense and a bad enough defense for me to carry the over and to really see a lot of scoring in this one. I'll take BGSU to win it by 1, but I love the over. I think the over-under in this game is only like 48 or something in a dome. I'll take the over. Next, we've got the Camellia Bowl. This is a noon game on the 27th, Georgia Southern and Buffalo. And right now, I could not find a spread. I don't know why it's off the board, but I'm just going to guess and say it's Georgia Southern -3 because that's kind of what the FPI says and things like that. And guys, I do have Georgia Southern winning an absolute shootout. They love to run and gun. They love playing higher scoring games. Buffalo facilitates this one as well, and we get a 41-36 final. High scoring game dictated by Georgia Southern because I think they are better than Buffalo, just straight up better team. We saw Buffalo really struggle to even beat Akron. So I'll take Georgia Southern. It is a noon game. Beware, these noon games, the kids are tired, they don't want to play. So a lot of the times the unders hit, but I will take this being a higher scoring game. Next, we have the First Responder Bowl. Guys, this is another situation. It's just simply not a good matchup. It really isn't. I think I might come out with a video where I rank all the bowl games. This would be towards the bottom. I don't know how Utah State made a bowl game. I don't know how they got to 6 wins. They're taking on a very inconsistent Memphis team. Memphis sitting at 10.5-point favorites, and I've got it at 34-10. It's just simply not a good bowl game. We would love for Utah State to prove us wrong. We really would. But it's going to be very hard for them, so I will take them to lose that one. Next, we have the Birmingham Bowl. It's going to be East Carolina taking on Coastal Carolina. And I do like, as long as Grayson McCall plays, of course, he came back for their conference championship loss. I think they can cover in this game. Just Coastal Carolina, they've been, really good the past few years. East Carolina, extremely inconsistent. I mean, we saw East Carolina like 3 weeks ago. They were, I think, 3-point underdogs against, or they might have been 3-point favorites, and they lost 42-3 to Houston. So they're very inconsistent. I'll take them to win. I'll take this to be a high-scoring game as long as Grayson McCall is playing. But I do have Coastal covering there. Next, we have the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. And guys, it's the perfect matchup for a Wisconsin team, even with the transfer portal situation with their quarterback. They're going to be playing a backup. I get it. I think Wisconsin with Luke Fickell taking on a team that's basically dead in Oklahoma State. This game is really light. It's at 10. Guys, doesn't it seem like Wisconsin always plays really late bowl games? I don't know. Maybe that's just maybe I've got a wrong vibe on that, but it feels like it. Either way, guys, Wisconsin, they win this game by a ton, in my opinion. Again, Oklahoma State has been dead in the water for a while now, and Wisconsin has so much life within that program. Luke Fickell hire, I believe they kept Jim Leonard too. They've got a ton of stuff going for them right now. Next, we have the Military Bowl. This is a 2 o'clock game on the 28th. UCF sitting at 3.5 points favorites, and as long as UCF's quarterback Plumlee plays this game, guys, to me, this is a total mismatch. I respect Duke. I understand they had a good season. Riley Leonard, the quarterback, the dual threat, they can get it done. They're going to score some points. But this UCF team, they're a power keg, and they're going to crush Duke in this game, in my opinion. Next, we have the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. So I think I mistitled it. I'm sorry. Normally, I never title it with the sponsor. So this is the Liberty Bowl. This is a 5:30 game on the 28th, and this is another game I could not find a line for. I do think Kansas is going to be very motivated to play this game. I believe KJ Jefferson is coming back for another year, so that's another shot in the arm for Arkansas, if you will, to where they're probably going to be motivated to have a really good finish to their season. Love the over in this game, and because this is a situation Kansas finally makes a bowl game, maybe with a healthy quarterback situation, I've got them winning by 1 point in a fun game. Both of these defenses are really bad. Arkansas's rush defense is terrible. Kansas's overall defense is horrible. So it should be a higher scoring game, in my opinion. And we've got the Holiday Bowl. This game happening the 28th at primetime, 8 o'clock matchup. I love the Holiday Bowl. It is North Carolina taking on Oregon, and this is another game where it is kind of a mismatch. I think Oregon is just a significantly better football team at this point than North Carolina. We saw North Carolina's close to the season, and I've got Oregon possibly with a healthy Bo Nix. I'm guessing he's going to be playing. You would hope he wouldn't sit out or anything like that. They win this game and they cover the spread. They're going to score a ton against a North Carolina team that's just reeling right now after their really good kind of start to the year, and it's surprising how bad they've been. And then this is the final prediction here for part one. It is the Texas Bowl. It's going to be Texas Tech, fitting enough, taking on Ole Miss. Ole Miss coming into this game 3.5-point favorites. Ole Miss is probably going to be very energized for this one. Lane Kiffin announcing he's coming back. They've got a good offense. Texas Tech, good offense, really bad defense, higher scoring game. But to me, Ole Miss, the SEC team, does win this matchup, and they do cover the 3.5-point spread. They've just got a way more talented team, and with Lane Kiffin coming back, they're going to have the motivation, the energy to win this game and cover the spread, probably with the over hitting, but I don't know the actual over-under in that one. So guys, my part one of the bowl predictions, the next video will be part two. It'll be all the New Year's 6 predictions, all the rest. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.